On your wrist, a plain Jane.
The following video is broadcasting live, and thank you for being my studio audience. Thank you for hitting thumbs up and subscribing to my channel for more Black news, celebrity entertainment, and a splash of controversy. What up and welcome back. It's your girl Jane, the plainest Jane, and we got some syrup to get into. I know y'all done read the title by now. Listen, y'all know it's always sticky in Hollywood and in real life and in prison/jail. And we're going to get into what R. Kelly got going on behind these closed doors, because I know you read the title by now. Okay, come on in, hit thumbs up, get comfortable. Okay, pay your fare to ride my bus. All right. His former cellie, right? His old cellmate has done a tell-all interview. So come and have a seat. Let me take a poll real quick. I like this light, but I want to take a vote. Do you like this light better? Or do you like the orange light better? Are you digging the blue or are you digging the orange better? Let me know. And I'll switch back and forth based on how you vote down below. And of course, make sure you hit thumbs up. We got some stuff to get into, and I don't even want to make y'all wait for it. Okay. Shout out to everybody in the live chat. I know it is literally just about 3 o'clock in the morning here in Baltimore, Maryland. So Baltimore, stand up. East Coast, stand up. And okay, so y'all said the orange better. Okay. Okay. I know the blue is kind of drastic, but yeah, I was feeling the orange because it's just more warm and it gives me that that vintage nostalgic home feel. You know, when you went over your grandparents' home back in the day, they always had those really yellow light bulbs. Now in 2022, everything is like bright white fluorescent. So I do like the yellowish orange light better. But okay, so cool. We getting into switching the colors, and I'm learning what y'all like, and it coincides with what I like as well. So look, shout out to the live chat. I hope y'all are feeling all right. And y'all know I always prioritize mental health. As a matter of fact, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. But y'all know in the beginning of each and every one of my videos, I encourage you to check in on your own mental health, your own invisible problems before you get to dibbling and dabbling and what's happening to these celebrities and out in the streets. You ain't got no business doing that unless you've tackled your own invisible warfare and you've tapped in on your own mental health. Shout out to my new subscribers. I know there are quite a few of you. Okay, I see we got another channel member who has rejoined. I know you were a channel member on the old channel that had over 100,000 subs that got deleted. So thank you for rejoining the Backstage Sticky membership. Be sure to check the members only community tab, because we did read the entire Megan Toy transcripts from beginning to end in one sitting the other evening. You'll find that on the community tab. Okay. Now, listen, let's go ahead and hit this intro. And there's a lot of stuff that we need to get into with regards to what R. Kelly's old cellie has spoke about. We got a toe infection to talk about, a lack of showers. We got somebody reading his mail out loud to him and sending outbound mail to his fans, typing up emails for R. Kelly. Why and how are the fans causing trouble for R. Kelly? There's a lot that we need to get into. For some of you, if you're a hardcore, not necessarily a hardcore fan, but a hardcore follower of the saga that is R. Kelly and R. Kelly's camp, some of this stuff might not be new to you, but a lot of what this gentleman said in this interview that released not even 12 hours ago today, it really solidified a lot of the media rumors for some that were already out there. Let's get into this intro. Make sure you hit thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe, okay, while the intro is playing. And I want to get right into it, okay? This is not going to be a long video.
The plainest Jane. This is one of my favorite comments here. She says, I loves me some black, and she said, loves me some black news. She says, is it just me, or does anyone else get tired of seeing people that don't look like them delivering info about them day in and day out?
All right, now listen, let me just start this off by saying this, right? I know that there are a lot of the, former victims or survivors of R. Kelly, should I say, right? And their family and their parents, they follow this type of commentary on YouTube. Listen, all things stated in this video are alleged in accordance with reports, and this is a recap of the tell-all that the former cellmate of R. Kelly went ahead and dispelled. And we'll talk about where this information came from. Actually, this information came from the As Is podcast channel, right? But I'm just giving you a recap and taking the most important things, the most potent things from that interview that really had me like, what? Like, where did this little nasty toe infection come from? Okay. So let's just start it all off and get into it, okay? Make sure you think critically and independently, regardless of what you hear from me or anybody else. So, boom, let's stop wasting time. Let's get right into it. So, from what this former cellmate is saying, right, is that R. Kelly is adapting well to his surroundings. He loves to sing, he loves to perform, and he's not stingy. If one of the, the inmates are asking him for something, yo, let me get this, let me hold this, R. Kelly's letting him have it, right? So he's adapting to his surroundings. But here's the thing, right? I know that there's always been like a lot of talk about R. Kelly's sexuality and R. Kelly liking, both sides. We had John Doe's when it came to the R. Kelly trial, which you all know that I covered very well and got me mentioned by the New York Times. And there were also several Jane Doe's, right? So we had 2 John Doe's in the trial and upwards of 20 or so Jane Doe's, right? So here's the thing. R. Kelly has a man that he shared his cell with, and then we've got Joycelyn Savage packed up in here as well. Okay, so R. Kelly, sharing a cell with an Indian man, right? Indian man who allegedly is rich, right? Apparently in there for embezzlement. Okay. Now, again, all things stated in this video are alleged in accordance with reports. There's a full copyright disclaimer and full effect. So this Indian cellmate is the one who is washing his drawers. Okay. So R. Kelly's got somebody washing his drawers while he's in there in the pen. Okay. It's this Indian man that he shares a cell with. Literally just about the general consensus with all of the inmates who were there at that time with Robert assumed and get the feeling, right? And people in jail, people on the streets in general, right? Jail or the streets, they do a pretty good job of feeling people in situations out and what the dynamics and relationships between people are. They feel like R. Kelly and this Indian man are fucking. They feel like they smashing. And I feel like that's a pretty safe assumption, right? It is an assumption, admittedly. But what other man is washing your drawers, opening them? R. Kelly's illiterate, right? He can't read above a 3rd grade level. So this man is helping R. Kelly to understand his incoming mail. He's reading his mail to him and sending outbound mail and typing up emails so that R. Kelly can understand what's coming in and say things to go out. Because R. Kelly does still, believe it or not, get a lot of fan mail. Another thing that did come out of this interview that I stumbled upon in the last couple of days, I'm always following the R. Kelly story. I just don't always make videos about it. There is a large set of the Beehive. The Beehive is R. Kelly's fan base that's still going strong. Of course, it's comprised of mainly women, right? They don't care about his PEDO allegations and him having always been attracted to and enthralled by young women and touching them, right? They have, bound together and they want to set up a fund to deliver R. Kelly $1,000 a week. So they want to dedicate and give and donate their hard-earned money to R. Kelly to give him $1,000 a week for his books and his commissary so that he doesn't have to sweat or worry about anything, or perhaps even get that booty up in order to get the food and things that he wants, right, while he's there. So that's that, okay? So that was just a side note based off of the Beehive still in live and living color sending R. Kelly their hard-earned money, basically trying to give R. Kelly $1,000 a week allowance. Now, okay, we got into the mail, we got into the washing of the drawers. A lot of the inmates were saying that R. Kelly, he had a body odor in the whole cell. It stank. They said that the whole cell smelled like a locker room, right? R. Kelly that was doing a lot of working out. So R. Kelly has gained weight while he's in there, according to what this former cellmate, they shared a tier together. And R. Kelly works out a lot but didn't like the shower. Why didn't he like the shower? I won't say he didn't like the shower because of the toe infection, right? Because according to a lot of other evidence before he even went in there, he always kind of had a little bit of BO and he was always ducking the water, dodging the water. Ducking the water, dodging the water means he's avoiding taking a shower, like he skips bathing, right? So it's not hard to believe that inside the pen that he wouldn't want to. And I mean, some people go into the pen and they feel like, look, that's where you get your booty took. That's where we get nagging. I'd rather be dirty, whatever. But nonetheless, R. Kelly is dealing with a toe infection that he believes he got from the showers, okay? The showers inside of the prison. Okay. Like I said, make sure you share this video in your group chats on social media, Twitter, Facebook, however it is that you share videos. Okay. They said he sings often. He has no problem with singing. They can actually tell that he enjoys it because he loves to perform. And actually, some of the inmates, were stating that, look, if we on the phone, we're making phone calls to our family and we say, yo, R. Kelly, bust a tune. R. Kelly would easily bust a tune to help entertain not only the inmates, but the people, the family and friends that the inmates were calling when they were on calls. And you know what? That makes perfect sense because you remember not too long ago, and I did a video about this here on this channel, where R. Kelly was singing to some young girl over the prison phone because her dad was in there, right? So her dad being in the same, prison, the facility, was able to sing to that young girl. So that actually does corroborate what this inmate said. Okay. And so sometimes when they would ask R. Kelly to perform, sometimes they would offer him a couple of dollars. Sometimes R. Kelly wouldn't take the couple of dollars. Other times R. Kelly would take the couple of dollars, right? It would really just depend on the day, according to this, tell-all interview, right? Now, there are some things that I'm just not going to repeat that were in this interview. Again, check it out. It was on the As Is podcast. This is just a really condensed summary because that was over an hour long, but they weren't talking about R. Kelly the whole time. Half of it, they were talking about that guy during his time, what he has and hasn't learned, and so on and so forth. But nonetheless, his toe got infected, right? Nasty toe infection in the shower. And he doesn't want to take a shower because of the toe, R. Kelly says, but he's always kind of just had not the best BO, right? I want to talk about how the fans got R. Kelly in trouble. And a lot of people were already kind of saying this. Like, look, listen, y'all don't need to be outside protesting in front of a federal building because y'all are actually making it worse for R. Kelly. Okay. Y'all are making it worse. And that was actually true. Hey, Purple Nemo, thank you for coming through. And so basically that is getting and you got to remember, R. Kelly has already done about 3 years. R. Kelly was also offered a plea deal while he was in there, but we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that a little later on. He denied that plea deal, right? But he wishes he would have taken it. But nonetheless, all the fans showing up and doing all this protesting and stuff like that, it got R. Kelly in trouble because this is at the peak and or beginning of COVID. Right. So the time that they are really regurgitating, right, and referencing, it wasn't yesterday or last month, because this is a person that's out and free now in society. But this, when R. Kelly was first, detained, arrested, and taken into custody, this is when COVID first started. And so these inmates, according to this tell-all, this old cellie is like, look, we only get 1 or 2 hours out free a day. We only get a few hours. And if everyone's protesting outside during COVID, right? This is how much time they got during when COVID was at its peak. They shut us down. We're on lockdown because of the protests happening outside because of some goddamn R. Kelly. Like, come on now. And so this is the reason why R. Kelly, he got a little beat up. He got beat up. He got beat up in his sleep, actually. So that story, if you don't recall, back when I was covering the trial, or just back last year in general, there was some rumor of, oh, R. Kelly, he was beat up and he was da-da-da. And some people felt like, listen, this is sympathy and payola. You want some sympathy from the outside. But it seems like it was actually true. Some of the inmates were fed up because that time when they're able to be let out from their cell is time where they're trying to call their family, their friends, their loved one. And if you don't know anything about incarceration, that little bit of free time you get outside that cell, that's what keeps your mind okay. That is directly connected to your sanity. Having to stay confined to a 4x6 or whatever the case is, that will drive you crazy. So R. Kelly protests happening outside, forcing the facility to be on lockdown, is what got R. Kelly in a couple of scuffles. And R. Kelly's not a fighter, according to this inmate who was doing all the talking and all of the tell-all. He was soft, right? And so white guy too, they said. Wasn't a black guy, white guy. There's a lot of politics, right? Gang politics, street politics when you are up in there. And there was a white guy that just kept calling him out and I wouldn't say picking on him, but really just voicing his concern, like, yo, tell them people to calm down. And R. Kelly always felt like, oh, I don't have any control over what they doing out there. well, you need to call them people off. You know what I mean? Like R. Kelly been singing to people on the phone. He done called into YouTube channels on the phone. If you can do all that, you can tell these people stop protesting outside this building because it's getting in the way of what the whole facility needs. They need their recreation time and they need to be able to reach out to their family and friends. Okay. So a lot of the fans and a lot of the cellies, a lot of the inmates were very starstruck by R. Kelly. They didn't care whether he did it or not. And as a matter of fact, the time that they were referencing, it was before the guilty verdict anyway. Right. And so, again, this is a white guy that was pressing and running up on R. Kelly. And like, listen, stop these rallies. I'm trying to get on about my day. Beat him up in his sleep and actually stomped him out. R. Kelly actually, after that, got sent to the SHU. If you don't know what the SHU is solitary confinement. And sometimes you're sent there for punishment purposes. Solitary confinement can literally drive you nuts. You go down there, you lose track of time. You barely get any light. You don't get any activity with others. It's wild. Even if you just watch prison shows, you understand just how crazy that you start to hallucinate and all other types of stuff. So sometimes you're down there for disciplinary purposes, and other times you're down there as a means of them trying to protect you, or you trying to protect yourself because you fear that when you shut an eye or when your back is turned, the gin pop might pop you. You know what I'm saying? You might be in danger. So sometimes it's solitary confinement for the sake of isolating you and keeping you safe. Other times it's punishment. But nonetheless, after R. Kelly was beat up, stomped out in his sleep, they said he was screaming. As a matter of fact, what this inmate said was, we wake up in the middle of the night and we heard somebody screaming. The way that this former cellie describes the scream is, he said, I thought that somebody was being raped. I'm like, damn, he was screaming like that because he was getting beat up. I don't know. I'm not making fun of, you know what I'm saying, like sexual assault or abuse, but I'm just like, damn, they definitely made it abundantly clear that R. Kelly is soft. Like, he's just not like that guy. And he's also paying people, he's paying for protection while he's in there. Okay. So he's paying certain groups and for certain affiliations to make sure that he stays safe and so that he don't get off. Okay. Now, again, like I said, R. Kelly is about 6'7", and this is what was really interesting. The guy, right, the inmate, the former inmate, describes R. Kelly as being 6'7" and fat, and the white guy who was pressing him as being 6'7" and skinny. And he's like, "Why are you letting this 6'7" skinny man beat up on you when you 6'7" and fat?" And he was saying that, look, R. Kelly is telling me that, look, I was asleep. There was nothing I could do. And the guy was basically trying to toughen him up. Like, you can't be letting nobody beat on you in jail. That's going to set a certain premise, and you going to be chum. Like, you're going to be bait. Like, you need to fight back. Don't let nobody beat you up like that. Meanwhile, R. Kelly is trying to explain like basic logistics. Like, look, bro, I was asleep. So that's that, right? He's crying. Then we get into a point where this is what the guy said. I don't believe that R. Kelly is almost 7 feet tall, but I also don't believe he's 5 foot. But nonetheless, I'm taking notes verbatim from what this gentleman said. Okay. Then this gentleman continues to go forward and says that R. Kelly was crying in his cell, right? He said he was crying. He was having a really hard time when he first got there. R. Kelly really felt like his money, his access, his connections was going to get him released. He really felt that way, which is the reason why when they offered him an alleged 10-year plea deal, he declined it. He turned it down because he felt like, nah, I'm going to get out of here. Now, R. Kelly regrets it because he's already done about 3 years time. And whatever your sentence is, you can get a little bit of time knocked off on good behavior. Just because you're given a 10-year sentence doesn't mean you're going to be obligated to serve that whole 10 years. At this point, R. Kelly had already done about 3 years, right? And so when he first got there, he adapted to the environment, right? Socially, because he had to. But when his emotions are setting in and he's in the cell by himself, said he was crying. And here I'm going to quote the gentleman from the interview. He says, listen, I was just, R. Kelly, through tears, he's saying, I was just in the Trump Tower walking my dog. I was just rich. Now I'm in rags. This is crazy, right? So R. Kelly's having a hard time adjusting. R. Kelly is 6'1", so the guy was exaggerating. Cool. But, when people talk about fights, they exaggerate with all types of stuff. Bing, bop, bop. Okay. And thank you so much for the $20 super chat, Darlene. I really do appreciate that. Love you, Jane. Always keeping it real. Always support Black Strong, no drama sisters. Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming through. So Now we get into Joycelyn Savage. This is the part. This is the part where I was like, wait a minute. You know, R. Kelly being dirty, R. Kelly not taking care of his body and himself, that's totally on him. And he's in the pen, right? Boom. But here's the part about Joycelyn Savage that's like, what? So Joycelyn Savage shows up to his window every day at this cell in Chicago, right? This is when he was, in Chicago, and Joycelyn showing up every day in the same clothes. R. Kelly at his window, right? Because here's the thing, and I'm being as respectful as I can, okay? Baltimore does what Baltimore does, so. Okay, so Joycelyn Savage wasn't on the visitation list according to this source, right? Because it was just a limited number of people who could be there. And we all know that R. Kelly was in this love triangle, right? And sometimes it was more of a damn octagon, hectagon, whatever you want to call it. But he was very publicly in a relationship with both Joycelyn Savage and Azriel Clary simultaneously. That is no secret at all, right? And apparently Azriel Clary was on the visitation list to the point where Joycelyn couldn't be there, according to what this inmate who was telling all is saying. And so for that reason, Joycelyn felt like, okay, let me show up to his window and visit and communicate with him that way through the window and via telephone. So that's how him and Joycelyn were keeping in contact. Meanwhile, Azriel was actually on the visitation list, right? And apparently Joycelyn would show up every day to R. Kelly's window, and R. Kelly's instructing her to do certain dances. They're like, listen, it didn't matter if it was coldish, hotish, thunderstorming, whatever the case was, she was out there in any old type of weather, getting rained on, all types of stuff. That guy did a 16-month bid in there when R. Kelly was there, right? That guy got there around about November. R. Kelly got there around Mayish, okay? So he spent several months there. So he was able to witness these things. And so Joycelyn's outside at the window all the time in the same clothes, every day in the same clothes. Her reasoning for being in the same clothes was she said she was going to wear the same clothes every day until he got out. She said she was going to wear the same black shirt, black hoodie, black mask, and pink boots every day until R. Kelly got out. You know the figure of speech from back in the day where they say, don't hold your breath. Baby, don't hold your breath and don't neglect to change your clothes, because, baby, why are you trying to wear the same clothes every day until R. Kelly gets out? You know how long you're going to be wearing them clothes, baby girl? Do you know how long you going to be wearing them clothes? Shout out to Jaded Nerd in the chat. That is crazy. So basically this dynamic is that Joycelyn was girl number 2 on R. Kelly's list of, prioritizing his women, because he always had many. And Azriel was number 1, but something happened. Rob wanted to switch things up. R. Kelly wanted to switch things up, and he wanted to place Joycelyn on the visitation roster for 6 months now, because Azriel had been there, allegedly, according to this person doing the tell-all, is that he wanted to place, he wanted to see Joycelyn in person, since he had been seeing Azriel in person, despite the fact that Azriel was his number 1 girl. He held Azriel a bit above Joycelyn. Azriel allegedly wasn't having it. She didn't like that suggestion. And she's like, look, if you want to put Joycelyn on the visitation roster, then I can dip. I'll dip. I'll leave then. She did. Now, this was around about the time, if you remember, when Azriel and Joycelyn got into this very this toxic spat, right? This girl fight, and it played out on social media, right? And we saw that they were in Trump Tower. We know Robert lived in Trump Tower, and there was this fight. Joycelyn actually got arrested for this. There's a whole mugshot and everything for that. And apparently, from what this person is saying, right, I don't know this to be fact, and I'm being very clear with that, right? Because I don't need anybody daddy trying to cuss me out because they feel like the wrong thing is being said. Baby, check the source, right? However, what's being said is that the reason why that fight took place at the Trump Tower was that's when R. Kelly wanted to switch the two girls out and place Joycelyn on the roster. All right. And apparently she was trying to take everything according to this person. She took the dog. She tried to take a Grammy, but Joycelyn didn't want Azriel to take a Grammy. And that's when the fight got heated. But apparently, from what this person is saying, Azriel got away with the dog, and Rob is upset about that. So remember, I was telling you earlier, Rob was crying and saying, listen, I was just living in Trump Towers. I was just walking my dog. I was just rich. And now I'm here. So I don't know where Robert's dog is. According to this person, they're saying Azriel has it. I can't confirm it. I'm not in Azriel's skin. I'm not in Azriel's house. I don't know. Oh, I did see Azriel with a dog one time, but I don't know whose dog it is. So I can't confirm that. But this is what the person is saying in the tell all interview, right? So here's what's going on next. The guy is saying that R. Kelly is all types of dirty. I mean, all types of dirty. And he went a whole year without getting a haircut. And a lot of the inmates kind of had to keep nudging him, like, bro, yo, get your haircut. Get your haircut. Like, come on. Like, it's bad enough you don't want to shower. Get your ass in the shower. Get a haircut. Fuck that infected toe. Get clean, man. What's going on? Now, we also had rumors, right? Apparently, Lisa Ray had posted something about R. Kelly being extorted and being suicidal. Some people, especially the R. Kelly fan base, felt like that was so wrong for Lisa Ray to say that. But this was corroborated by the former cellmate, who stated that, I mean, is he being extorted? He's a nice guy. He's not like a street guy. And he's got money. And he's a soft guy. So to an extent, yeah, he is being extorted, whether it's for cash, whether it's for his resources, whether it's for his commissary. Everybody want to get something out of, I mean, hell, this guy comes out and does a tell-all interview. You don't think he got something for that? So it would be impossible for R. Kelly to not be extorted in one way, shape, or form, whether it be cash, notoriety, social currency, clout, whatever, right? But then we touch on that suicidal part. And from what this former cellie is saying is that R. Kelly really leans on talking to Joycelyn every day, talks to her like every day. Like he is just, that is what keeps him going. If he don't talk to Joycelyn, he is just like not okay, according to this guy. Okay. Now, so he's saying that, like, look, R. Kelly was saying that he had a breakdown one day. He was listening to the radio. R. Kelly, and he heard someone had the exact same case and charges as him. And they got sentenced to life. They got a life sentence. Okay. As a matter of fact, they got 2 life sentences. That's what it is. And then I look at my notes that he was listening to the radio. He heard someone that had the exact same case as him, and they got 2 life sentences. And that really affected Robert. Robert was like, yo, I can't do time like that. Like, I just can't do it. And this person said that R. Kelly said, I can't do time like that. I'll hang myself before I do time like that. And I'll hang myself before I lose Joycelyn, is what this former cellmate is saying that Robert said. So he's like, look, I feel like he does have suicidal tendencies. He does consider it. As long as he's got Joycelyn, though, he'll be all right. He said if something happens to his relationship with Joycelyn, then he's not going to be mentally okay. His mental is straight if he can continue communicating with. And you got to think about it. Joycelyn's the only girl he's got now. Azriel's gone. Azriel stepped away. Joycelyn's all there is. So Robert still very much feels like, listen, this is not where I'm supposed to be. Now, mind you, we're only down 1 trial of 3. Okay. We don't even have the sentencing in yet for R. Kelly in this trial. The Chicago trial actually actually starts on August the 4th, but the sentencing for the New York trial will be on June 15th or 16th. I want to say it's the 15th. So nonetheless, Robert's in this for the long haul. Okay. He's really in this for the long haul. So Robert does tend to go a little bit crazy, according to what this former cellmate that told all if and when his cell is moved, because he was set up in the cell where Joycelyn Savage could pop up every day and visit his window and do the little dance, and they would talk and communicate, do their little hand signals, whatever. Mind you, Joycelyn, again, she's wearing the same clothes every day. I don't know if she's putting on the same clothes just to go see him, or if she's like really changing her clothes in real life when she's away from the facility. But either way, every time it was inquired, it's like, yo, why she's wearing the same clothes? She's wearing the same clothes until he gets out. It seems like she's going to be wearing the same clothes until she's 90 what? 4? We don't know. We just don't know. But like I said, this is completely and absolutely crazy. I ain't went to the bush yet. Let's go to the bush. Let's go to the bush.
It was gone.
Let me just go in the bush and weep. Let me just go in the bush and weep. I just have to go in the bush and weep. Really. I don't understand. I swear to God, I don't understand.
So look, I want to know what you think. This is pretty much everything. I do have more notes here, but some of these notes, some of it sound like it could be a stretch. It could be a stretch down to people that R. Kelly is claiming he didn't have sex with in the industry. I did hear he had a little crush on Mary J. Blige in this interview, which is interesting because it's like, well, damn, she not young. she y'all was around about what, like the same age? Oh, you were attracted to somebody your age. Then there were other people who it seemed like he said he had sexual relations with, you know what? I just find it hard to believe. So I'm not even repeating those things in this video. If you want to check it out, check out the As Is podcast. If you would like to listen to the thing in its entirety, again, I think it's like an hour and 15 minutes long. But this is the synopsis and all of the information that I was able to extract that was relevant to R. Kelly's current experience behind bars and what life is like. I want to know what you think. Do you think that, like, you know, the inmates are saying, like, look, I think that R. Kelly is bumping and grinding with this Indian man who's washing his drawers, reading his mail, typing his emails, and sending outbound mail to all his fans as R. Kelly gets a lot of mail. How do you feel about R. Kelly's fans trying to band together and give him an $1,000 a week allowance? How do you feel about that? That's really interesting to me. They said, does she change her? Child, I don't know. That's a really good question. He ain't never tried to swing back. He's a soft guy, but again, as stated, he is paying under the table for protection there. He's paying people to protect him, which is expected. How I was even in high school and there was some people who was like, look, they found a clique that was very powerful and very, very feared. And because, without me giving out too much information, they were paying it to be like protect. And this was just high school. So I can imagine what it's like in jail. But nonetheless, look, R. Kelly's life behind bars, I wouldn't say it's been a walk in the park. A lot of people, you know, kind of relish in the fact that he hasn't had it as easy. He's got the toe infection. He doesn't want to shower. He's getting stomped out because of the protests that are happening. The fans don't have enough common sense to protest away from a federal building, not realizing that you're out here rallying for R. Kelly, but every night, every day, y'all come here and do this and y'all get the jail put on lockdown. He's getting his ass beat because y'all are out here causing problems and they can't get their recreation time, nor can they make the phone calls that they need to be in contact with their friends and family. And that's how anybody survives in the pen. It's by how they can exercise their mind and who and how they choose to communicate with the outside world. And if all of that is shut down because y'all are out here protesting for the pissy Pied Piper, do you really care about your king or not? Do you really care about your king or do you not? I just want to know.
Baltimore, I can't see you. Where you at?
Yo, telling me with this. I can't help.
Robert.
I can't help. real. Dos delincuentes. You're killing me, man. This ain't not about music. I'm trying to have a relationship with my kids, and I can't do it. Y'all just don't want to believe the truth. You don't want to believe it.
At this point, we briefly pause the interview to give Kelly a moment.
Man, y'all killing me with this. Y'all killing me with this. Y'all killing me with this. Y'all killing me. Y'all trying to kill me. Y'all killing me with this. Y'all killing me with this. Y'all killing me with this. Y'all killing me with killing me, man. Trying to kill me. Killing me, man. Trying to kill me. Y'all wanna believe it? Trying to kill me. Killing me, man. Trying to kill me. I hope this camera keep going. Stupid R. Kelly. Fight for my life. Stupid R. Kelly. Do it right here. Stupid R. Kelly. Fight for my life. Stupid R. Kelly. Do it right here.
Why are they making things worse for they king? That's they king at the end of the day. Stop protesting outside a federal building. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. You're making it harder for your busy Pied Piper. No. Oh my God, no. I don't know. Y'all know I jump on covering R. Kelly in a heartbeat. Okay. Well, not all the time, right? It's got to be something that's worth it. And when I heard about the infected toe in the showers, I said, okay, and then the man washing his drawers, I said, okay, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Ain't no man washing your drawers unless there's some booty bumping going on. Some booty warrior going on. Oh, I saw y'all was jamming in the comments. What y'all thought I had got rid of the song? Baby, I lost the channel, but I ain't lose my clips. We got this song. We got the remix up in here. But listen, honestly, I want to know how you feel. Do you feel like R. Kelly should have took the 10-year plea deal? Do you think it would have made a difference? Do you think he would have ever seen the light of day anyway, especially because he's got 2 more trials coming up that need to take place? Okay. How do you feel about Joycelyn wearing the same clothes every single day? How do you feel about the 10-year plea deal that R. Kelly declined? How do you feel about that infected toe? About them drawers being washed by that man? About him really not being able to read his own mail? Do you feel like they getting over on him? You know, I know when we listen to R. Kelly singing to that young girl on the recording, it kind of sounded like he was tired of singing. Maybe he was burnt out that day. But I do think that R. Kelly misses his former life. And I do think that he's finally gotten a wake-up call. I think he has finally gotten his wake-up call with regards to everything that he has done. He still feels like he's being set up. He still feels like, well, all the celebrities bring girls across state lines and pay for their flights. Why am I so different? They got it out for me because I'm a black man. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Cry me a river, baby boy. Because I don't care what you did to Aaliyah was dead wrong. Those songs about Aaliyah was dead wrong. It's just a hot mess. But listen, that's all I have for you. I want to hear from y'all down below in the comments. Be sure to tag me in your favorite trending topics on Instagram and on Twitter, and especially on Twitter. Y'all know I'm always over there causing a hoot. Okay. Thank you for your support. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your time and energy. And no, I don't take any of that for granted. It's literally 3:30 in the morning over here in Baltimore. So I hope that you all have a marvelous Tuesday. I hope that you have a great week. I hope that it is productive. Whatever it is that you set out to do or to accomplish or to change about yourself, your situation, your circumstances, I hope that you are able to actually get those things done. Let me know your thoughts on all the things discussed in this video right here. Don't neglect to keep it sticky and real down below in the comments. Check in on yourself, find some peace, do some things to grant yourself release, and most importantly, subscribe and thumbs up or down. Either way, I appreciate it. But make sure you hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of this breaking black news or celebrity updates. The syrup is always hot and sticky over here, okay? Y'all stay beautiful, black, and blessed. Drop me some of them pancake emojis down below, and I'm going to catch y'all in the next video. Deuces. But that's it. If you want to catch more of my commentary on black culture or vital and trending information, be sure to subscribe by hitting that little circle in the middle of the screen, or I'll catch you in one of these rectangles to the right in another video. I'll see you there.